Oh, hi. You know the Bob's Burgers movie, like, just pretty much just came out. And that's an animated sitcom thing. Simpsons had a one theatrical released movie. And then there's some rumors that they're making a second one. And then there's also rumors that Family Guy's gonna have one, but it's gonna be live action animated mixture, which I don't know how I feel about that. And unless they do like a kind of poking fun of that kind of thing. And another company that actually has one that they barely use, they kind of did on that Bam Bam and Pebbles and Bam Bam show that they did. But pretty much I'm saying that they should reboot Flintstones and make it geared towards adults. And I know they're rebooting like a Scooby-Doo thing, but focusing on Velma and making it adult for the Velma thing. But I think that's gonna fail because they had a self-insert. Velma looks just like the executive producer, change the race to Indian and stuff like that. And usually self-inserts kind of fail because that Powerpuff Girls animator kind of self-insert his character into like Powerpuff Girls liking that character kind of thing. They did that. So I think that's gonna fail. So reboot Scooby-Doo into more of an adult thing like they were about to do in the original live action thing. They had it PG-13, but they were told to do PG, so they dialed down the thing, and some of the PG-13 stuff still showed up, so you can kind of tell they're trying to be PG-13 but didn't. So make that adult sitcom, adult anime sitcom. That could be an option. And if Paramount wants to do that adult anime sitcom, they could use Daria. They could use Beavis and Butthead again and make it more of a sitcom. And of course they already still have South Park, but that's been successful. For some reason that hasn't been canceled, even though you can argue South Park is way more like vulgar and stuff about adult content, and Family Guy still kind of watered down compared to South Park, and they got canceled like a whole bunch of times, so seems like a double standard or something. Well, Flintstones adult animated cartoon would be pretty good. And I'm not 100% sure if Bob's Burgers is actually adult animated sitcom, but Family Guy mentions it, so it seems like it's at least bringing in an adult audience and stuff, so I'm still kind of saying that it might be a little more geared towards adults. I'm not sure, but that's what I'm feeling. But Venture Brothers could be a sitcom. And of course, if they do the Kids Next Door, Galactic Kids Next Door show and make it geared towards more adults, because it's gonna geared towards the audience that grew up on Kids Next Door, so geared towards adults. That would be kind of cool. Galactic Kids Next Door, and have number one as a teenager, since some teenagers are actually good in part of the Kids Next Door, he would be still considered like a Kids Next Door kind of thing. Because remember that one teenager that still was part of Kids Next Door, so that could be a thing. Him still being a Kids Next Door, but him being a teenager. And some adults could be a good side, just like number one's dad. And yeah, I'm just saying, adult animated shows should get theatrical release, because you know that Sausage Party, they might have a sequel for that, so might as well have adult animated stuff in theaters. And yeah, bringing back a lot of old movies, that'd be kind of cool. So yeah, bringing back movies from 30 years ago, making a sequel from that would be kind of cool. So all I'm gonna say is, since Top Gun's doing that, think of a lot of 80s movies that could easily make a sequel, and that the original actors still alive and everything. Good. So sorry about that rambling. All I'm gonna say is, Flintstones should get a reboot for adults. So Warner Brothers has their own Family Guy, and if CBS buys Warner, they would have that kind of more of a Adult Swim kind of demographic, with teenage demographic and stuff like that, because MTV's more teenage thing. Yeah. And if Universal buys Warner, Universal barely has any like kids channel. Like Cartoon Network is like huge, and Universal Kids is like not really watched that often, I would say, because I kind of never heard people really talk about Universal Kids. So that would be good. So CBS would just be strengthened by Warner Brothers, and Universal would gain more of an audience thing. That it seems like Universal's like the name suggests, more universal, has like more of a global audience, versus CBS with Paramount like does kind of have a global audience, but obviously still American kind of focused. So all I'm saying is, sorry about the rambling, I tend to do that, but Bob's Burgers, come on, Family Guy. And if Seth MacFarlane is gonna leave Fox, like Disney, Fox and stuff, going to Universal, doing that Ted reboot, like Ted prequels, cool series or something. Ted, Seth MacFarlane makes another show kind of like Family Guy because he tends to like copy his own thing, because American Dad is very similar to Family Guy, and Cleveland Show is kind of similar to Family Guy. So if he does that kind of structure and a universal kind of idea, that would be kind of interesting. Seth MacFarlane make a Family Guy for Universal. So yeah, that would be cool. And all I'm saying is I don't really, I'm not really biased towards like any company. I'm just somewhat against Disney because they're kind of overpowering and they're not making a variety, and they're just doing what works and constantly doing that. It's working most of the time, but those fails kind of destroy everything like that. Even when a movie sucks, people, tons of people watch it and make it successful because they want to know what happens next. That's the whole idea. So that's why I don't really like Disney that well. If Seth MacFarlane leaves Disney, that would be actually a good thing in my opinion, because Lion King live action kind of tarnished everything. And another reason why I don't really like Disney is some of the live action ideas that I want to happen is never gonna happen, because it failed because they didn't really care. Whenever, like for instance, Fox and the Hound, they made Fox and the Hound 2 and it failed, so they're just gonna give up on Fox and the Hound, even though Fox and the Hound 2 like completely changed from Fox and the Hound 1. It's like completely two separate movies. It's not a sequel at all. It's like a mid-cool, because it's like the Fox and the Hound already know each other. So it is after the very beginning of the movie, but they're not adults yet, so it's not towards the middle. So it's in between that little like niche, they don't know their enemies, and they hang out outside the farm and stuff. So it's weird. So a live action Fox and the Hound would have been amazing, but if they focused on like the kid side and stuff, that would really suck. Because the adult, when they become adults, that's like really cool. And then Meet the Robinsons live action would be amazing. Treasure Planet live action would be amazing. Yeah. And since they technically own the Anastasia, because they own Fox, they own Anastasia, like continuing that Anastasia, that would be kind of cool. Like making some shorts or like a mini series or something within the world of Anastasia, that would be kind of cool. Or make a live action Anastasia of the Fox's Anastasia, And speaking of underrated stuff, Warner Brothers, their underrated thing is like Cats Don't Dance. I really like Cats Don't Dance. It's like the villain is really cool. Like a little child, like baby, being a villain, being really creepy and like selfish and all that stuff. That's like really cool. And I'm still rambling, but like I'm just gonna call this like a rambling kind of video. But yeah, all I'm saying is that's how I think, and yeah, that's all I'm gonna say.